Okay, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Just go through again the ministry level reforms. As you know, that I had mentioned that your permanent secretary is quite keen to reform the ministry, and we believe it requires a lot of reform, in particular in head office. So the review of the ministry structure commenced in September. Review headquarters, divisional, district service provision, and resulting staff requirements. So obviously, the way that the structure is currently, I mean, we've seen it's fairly bureaucratic. I'm talking about you teachers, but I'm talking about the people who supposedly are managing you. I think there seems to be a lot of bureaucracy there. There seems to be a lot of, I'm trying to think of a very kind word. A sort of clientelism that exists, that people feel that they need to be, relatively overly nice to people to have their careers, to have that transfer if they want to transfer. Those are the kind of things that we want to get out of the system for everything to be based on merit. So again, you may need to change the structure of the administration. Again, what we want the ministry to do is focus on the core business, which is the schools and the teachers. Like I said, just let me reiterate, the example that I gave was that one of the persons from the head office said, we need to get some of the principals back into the head office so we can use them then to monitor the other teachers and other principals. I said, what you're doing, you're cannibalizing. You're actually cannibalizing from your core business. Why take out the good principal? Because their argument was, people in the head office should be paid higher salary than those principals. When they want a higher salary, they'll leave the school and come to the head office. So I said, no, it should be the other way around. Because your core business is providing teaching services. So the people who provide the teaching services should be rewarded the best. So then they'll stay within the teaching area. Not for you to get all the best people and put them in head office. Because then the delivery of education, curriculum, the delivery of teaching actually is substantially reduced, the quality of it. So that's the mindset that we are trying to change, and that's what needs to be looked at. So again, we're looking at the research and report on optimum class sizes. I'm sure many of you teaching staff would agree that maybe the class sizes are too big. You need to have far more teachers, less students. So we are very keen to do that. As you know, in the past number of years, I think for the past 3-4 years, every year we've given new teacher positions. We created new teacher positions. We need more of that. So the report also looks at it holistically. So with your pay rise, with the recognition of different skill sets, we still believe that's not just the answer. The answer is also to be able to help you focus on a fewer group of students so you can actually deliver better. You get better results too. And we've seen that some schools actually still have, 40 students in a classroom, or 35, 48, whatever, 50. So anyone bidding higher than 50? I feel like I'm doing a 56, there you go. I feel like I'm in an auction. But that's what we want to change. So we need you to work with us to be able to help us identify those issues. And that's one of the objectives of this restructure. So, again, so identify other relevant staffing ratios at school level. For example, after class size, how many teachers to each assistant head teacher or vice principal. And also review the roles of vice principal and assistant principal and relevant staffing ratios at secondary level. And the World Bank, of course, is supporting us. Actually, World Bank, we found them to be quite good. They're very good. One of the few things they're quite good at is this one too. In terms of looking at the education sector. So that's on the horizon. That work is commencing. So you'll also see there'll be quite a few changes still taking place next year, but all for the betterment, for your sort of teaching environment. And that's obviously very, very important for us. Now, what are the other reform activities? Introduction of 7 student-free days from January 2018, 3 prior to term 1, 2, 3 prior to term 1, 2 prior to term 2 and 3. They are the 7 days that we are hoping to put in place. This is for professional development activities at the school and district level, and the ministries to confirm the program for next year. So you should know beforehand what will be your commitments. It's not like, somebody at head office decides 1 month earlier on, you're going to have some training, or decides 2 weeks before, you're going to have some training. Because you have your own lives, you have your own, classes to manage, etc. So we want them to, of course, this will ensure that the ministry becomes a lot more focused on what they need to do. They need to have a plan, a strategy for the entire year. And we need to have it at the school or the district level. Practice in many other countries, in particularly those with higher education outcomes, Finland, Australia, New Zealand, all of these countries have what they call these student-free days. And allows also the focus of professional development at these times rather than on the weekends or after school, like I said. So you all know exactly what are the days, what days are required for you to be there, and then we have the plan rolled out for you. Again, CSRMU regularly conducts information sessions. What's for announcement on FEMIS and in the papers. Please read that. We'll be rolling that out. If you're interested, you're most welcome to attend yourselves. You can nominate to attend training, Ministry of Civil Service. Just put in your CV. CV writing and interview skills. We do that for you. So if you're going to, for example, apply for a job, you want to apply for vice principal, when you put up a good submission, we can help train you how to put together your CV, how to put together your letter. So Ministry of Civil Service, the Civil Service Reform Management Unit will actually help you to do that. So if, for example, we find a lot of teachers in Lautoka may want that, we'll go and conduct a training session for them there. If you want to come to Suva, that's additional sort of training we do provide for you. Discipline training for supervisors and managers, investigation officer training, discipline, all of that we do. And you can also request your ministry in your student-free days for training or inclusion of civil service reforms. If you want to know more about it, or if you know that your colleagues want to have more information, we can also provide that for you. Is that the last slide? And that, if you can see on the corner, no, sorry, that's the last slide. But what I'd like to do, so ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure there's a lot of issues you will have questions and queries on. So maybe we can open up the floor for whatever period of time you want. If you have any questions or queries, I hope that many of the misinformation that was out there has been actually answered. And but if you have any questions, either for Jane or I, please feel free to ask. I assume that there is somebody going around with a mic, and they can, please, over here. Maybe just identify yourself so people know who you are and which school you're from.
The Honorable Minister, my fellow colleagues, I'm from a private school, LDS. I'm here because I'm a teacher. A few years ago, the Minister of Education said that teachers are the laziest people here in Fiji and they do not require pay rise. I still remember that. I want to thank the government for now recognizing the time has come to recognize the work that teachers do inside the classroom. Without teachers, there will be no bank manager, there will be no minister, there will be no prime minister. We are the one who created them. And it's about time the government recognize the work that we do inside the classroom. I've written down 4 things over here. Some of them are suggestions, and one of them is a request to the Honorable Minister. The first one is, can we change the name contract? To us teachers, contract is like something that is forced to us to sign. I have an alternative word, which is much more acceptable for teachers. It's called Fiji Formal Educational Employment Document. If you can change that to, instead of contract, we write Fiji Formal, so it's Fiji first, already there. Fiji Formal Employment Educational Document. We should be different from the other world. The other world are using document, we make it more local. We make it to ourselves, so it's called Fiji Formal Employment Educational Document for us teachers. I hope after this, all of us, or all of you will sign. I already signed mine in my workplace. I have a contract too that I have to sign. And I feel safe because if something happened to my employment, I can take that contract to a lawyer and the lawyer will fight for my case in the court. So contract is a legal document.
What is your contract called?
My contract is a name to the church. It's a church. It's not a contract. It's church something.
But you just said you can take it to the lawyer.
To me, it's a legal document.
Okay.
So it's a legal document to me. So whatever is written on my contract, if my employment says something contrary to that, I can fight it in court. So contract is good. Only the name to be changed. The next one, Honorable Minister, I hope we are not tapping the tutoring opportunities for our students. If we have voluntary retirement at 50, if teachers want to retire at 50, the government can...
It's 55.
Yeah, it's 55 now. So if they want to retire at 50 and start tutoring schools, where they can employ the new graduates to tutor our exam students. And we make a law that students that sit examinations should have a certain number of tutorial attendance before they sit, like they do in other countries. That's just a suggestion for the long-term goal. The next one is training and leadership. I hope that we have training during 2 weeks breaks and during the Christmas holiday so that teachers have opportunity to come and attend this leadership training. So that when you apply for bigger positions, you already done those civil service trainings for leadership and not to be done during the school days. And my last request here, Honorable Minister, is for our citizens, the students and the parents. They are attending private schools for free school fees. Please. These are Fiji citizens, students who attend private schools. I think they should be also given that same amount of money that is paid to other citizens in other schools. That is my last request here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So you actually not employed by government? You're not paid for by government?
Yes, I'm a private teacher in a private school.
Okay, all right, thank you. Well, thank you for attending, and but thank you for your contributions. It'll remain contract. We'll keep it as contract. It's an employment contract because, as you know, that when you also have an employment contract, legally speaking, as you rightly pointed out, you can go to a lawyer, but before you even go to a lawyer, you can actually go to the Employment Relations Tribunal because the Employment Relations Act actually will be relevant to you. So you actually have an employment contract. So, but all the others I think can probably park. Let's hear from people who are actually not employed by a private school, and maybe you can, sir, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Muhammad Feroz from Devi College, Nambua. I think the question that we have right now, some of us, the young teachers who have been recently promoted, after working hard for 20, 23, 25 years, we were able to reach the principalship in just last year, before last year. And when we have signed our new contracts, we are going back to the vice principals. And I'm afraid that after all that hard work for those number of days, we don't know we'll be given a equal at the level playing field when you come back to the open merit system again. After serving in the rural settlement, like in the schools, in remote schools like Ngau Secondary, where I was, from there we were promoted because we have the hard work. But now the contracts that we have now is a vice principal's contract that we have. And I'm afraid that maybe after that many number of hard years work, we might lose our positions again. So just a clarification on that, Chair.
No, as Jane highlighted, that you are not nobody's any worse off. So if you have been given an acting position, because those jobs need to be advertised, is that what you're trying to say?
Pardon, sir?
Sorry, I said that nobody is actually worse off. If you are actually holding a principal position, obviously, yes. If you're a principal and you're getting, I think, about a $22,000 pay rise, or $22,000, $24,000 pay rise, depending on the size of the school.
Yes.
Right? So you are getting an acting position, right?
No, so, we are getting the acting position now.
Yes,
yeah.
Which is 95%
of the
new salary. You should be getting the 95%. So your salary actually is increased.
Yes.
Okay. So you obviously now need to apply for that position when the job is advertised.
Exactly, sir.
Under the OMRS system, if you have been a good principal, and you obviously will do well in the interview. If you, for example, don't get the job, you will not be in a financially worse off position. You will still get the same salary to what you were getting, but you will not necessarily have that title.
Yes, exactly.
That's the issue.
That's the issue. Yeah.
So, but I'm saying, obviously under OMRS, there may be somebody who we don't know about that may have also served in 10 rural schools and may have done really well, and they may get the job. So the issue here is that you need to be able, from our perspective, we need to obviously ensure, and we're trying to ensure, and we'll ensure that it does happen, is the OMRS system obviously is done in a transparent manner. This is why we spend so much time on that. So you can come with flying colors, but personally, as an individual, you're financially not in a worse off position, assuming you don't get that position. Okay?
Yep.
But in respect of the title, you may or may not get it, but like we said, most of the people who actually are holding the positions, if they have got their own merit in the first place, they will probably get the position in any case under the OMRS system. I mean, we had a similar thing, like for example in the Solicitor General's office, they did a similar thing, where the people had to reapply for positions, etc. And most of the people actually got it. They got the positions because they have been in those positions for a while. But you never know, sometimes there are some people, of course, who, I'm not saying anybody in this room, but there may be people who actually become head teacher, vice principal, because they're, very good at giving morning tea to somebody. Okay? I mean, it's a fact. It's a fact. So we obviously want to ensure that when they apply for the position, the best person gets that position.
I agree, sir. Just one suggestion maybe. I understand that been doing very well in the interview or maybe in the job test does not make you a good principal, the vice principal. Sometimes people get nervous, sometimes they get frustrated, but those who really do the job in the schools, I feel that they should be provided an equal playing field.
It will be a playing field. I mean, Jane went through that, what is the criteria in terms of the assessment. I don't think you should be frightened about it, I mean, really.
Thank you, sir. I'm just sharing that, and I hope everything will be done right. Thank you very much, sir.
Don't worry. I mean, that's why we're taking this time. I mean, I'm here today. Tomorrow I'm doing Singatoka and Nosori, and then Lotoka, Ba, Nandi in one day, and then Lambasa and Savu-Savu. All of them in this week, because we want people to, know exactly, hear from us, because we are the people implementing it. Plus, we also know that there has been some gaps in the manner in which the Ministry of Education has rolled some of this out. And so we want to obviously take back that level of professionalism that they have not been able to deliver. But I don't think you should be concerned about it. Thank you.
Good morning, sir. I'm Gulsher Ali. I was promoted as a principal to through this open merit system, sir. And I was appointed on 16th of January. And on the verge of my departure to the school, the former Honorable Minister stopped me and asked me to wait. I'm still waiting to take up my position as a principal, sir. So I just like some clarification from you. Why have I been stopped? A junior officer is acting while I'm available to carry on my job as principal. Thank you, sir.
I have absolutely no reason. I absolutely do not know why the minister stopped you.
Yes, sir.
But obviously there's something that we can find out. I mean, Jane is here, you can highlight those issues. Like I said again, if there are certain anomalies that have taken place either through the disciplinary process or any of the systems within the education, you can raise it with us. This is why we really want you to leave your emails, but we also will leave our emails, and you can write directly to us because we need to fix this up. There's a number of issues. So we want to be very open about it. I've encountered some other issues there where some people have been, for example, in disciplinary matters, where a lot of people were, for example, suspended without any proper hearing. So we've reinstated those people because they did not follow due process. So those are the issues that we can resolve. Ladies first, over here. Lady over there, please. No, right in there. No, at the back there.
We have an inquiry.
Thank you, sorry.
Before I ask my question, Agnes Kwong from Holy Cross College, the Vice Principal, and I'm very happy to be here today. And to the Honorable Minister for Economy, I ask you, my questions are based on performance. Number one, I've signed the contract, but I have not received the job description, the new job description. So I'm just wondering, why sign and my job description has not been given to me? Because when I go back, it will be very clear to me on what job I should be doing since I've assigned. In many cases, we signed, and while in school, we have just been told verbally by our head on the expectation. But I think with the new change, as a new post holder, I would like to know exactly what I need to do when I go, so that I'm clear with my job. And secondly, performance too is tempered by higher officers. For example, a teacher was in my school just for a second year, and somebody from a neighboring school just directly liaised with one of the high positions in the Ministry of Education, and to our surprise, she is moved. And the one they sent, a very new, fresh one. And the one that came to us was a good one, and we worked together when she had a lot of experience. But we are saddened that from the top, they make changes which are not very fair. Because all of us, we want to produce good results. And secondly, they send teachers very late to the school. And when they send replacement, not of the right choice. So how can they produce, or how can they impart knowledge to the poor children? And I think this is one of the concerns, not sending the right person for the right job or to teach the right subject. And this is one of the main factors that not helping to improve performance. So please, something can be done? Because it's beyond our control. We're just there to carry out the work. But there are things that are beyond our control, and it has an impact on our performance. We are just there, and they can manipulate, and we just struggle through. And those who perform very well, if you claim, please, can you trial in some underperforming schools so that you really know that you're a good principal, okay? Don't just say, sitting there, please, have a try on some underperforming schools, those with very difficult problems. And maybe if you prove yourself there, maybe you deserve a good position.
It is most unfortunate that the contract they gave you did not have the job description. I completely agree, they need to do that. And again, this is some of the things that we are trying to fix up. So again, any of you, we'll put up the email address up on the board. There you go. csrmu.enquiries@gmail.com. Please take it down. Your individual issues, problems, anything to do with the employment. Please don't ask the CSRMU help you to do a transfer. They won't do that. But any issues to do with your contract, if you know of any anomalies in appointments, movements, etc., that you think has not followed a particular process, please let us know. We really want to know. Look, the point that we're here, we want to work with you because I think we're in a very, very good wicket here, as they say. We're in a good space here. We've improved the salaries, we're having OMRS, and we know that there's some issues with some of the decisions being made by the ministry. We want to fix it up. Because I can tell you, if we fix it up now, the future actually is very, very bright for all of you because you're really trying to change the whole culture. I agree with, in respect of the teachers, etc., those movements. There has been that. I think it's one of those ministries that has suffered from what we call personality issues. A lot of the ministries are very personality driven. We've seen some ministries more than others. Probably education is very personality driven. Not just at the, at the head office, but also I've seen in the district level. I mean, I remember when I went for the budget consultations to all the schools, I could see the dynamics between the education officers and the teachers and the principals, and it told 1,000 stories to me without people actually saying anything. So, that I think we want to fix up. So we definitely should get a JD with that too. Okay. Thank you.